Hi, welcome to this introductory video for lighting control. The first thing I'd like to say is that the terms lighting controller or console or light board are all synonymous. They all correspond to this computer that controls the lighting states on stage. We will be specifically talking about the ETC Ion XE, which is the board that we have in the lab. It's the newest version from ETC. ETC is electronic theater control. It is primarily a theatrical console or theatrical light board. And this is just the model. This is the smallest version of the family. There is an entire family of consoles, and they all share the same operating system. So if you learn how to program this light board, you can easily move up to a larger light board, a larger version of it. They all run the exact same software and essentially have the same layout and configuration. The configurations that we're going to talk about are common to most lighting consoles. They are laid out in a similar fashion, so if you understand the concepts that we talk about here, you should be able to transition relatively easily to other consoles. I've put a link to ETC's website down here. It's etcconnect.com. And then this is their training videos. This is what their web page looks like. I had mentioned that it is a family of consoles, and they are known by the operating system EOS. That's just their brand name or their trade name. And EOS encompasses all of them. And Ion is the smaller version of that family of light boards. So again, there's the link. And if you scroll down that page, you will see these introductory training videos. So we're going to talk about a lot of commands and keystrokes. And by going to this website, you can learn about the specific application of any of the topics that we sort of just touch on today. Why don't we start and learn a little bit about what a lighting board does? What does a lighting controller do? A lighting controller is nothing more than a computer that sends signals to control the lights on stage. It really doesn't do anything except manage information and transmit information. The protocol that light boards speak is called DMX 512, and so we connect DMX, and it primarily goes to a dimmer rack, right, which is just a big box that distributes electricity out to individual lights. And so we can set the intensity of these individual lights, from 0, which would be out, to 100%, which is full. We just set the dimming of them. To continue DMX also feeds intelligent lighting or moving lights. They call them intelligent lights, except they're really not intelligent. They only do what you tell them to do. So you have to give them commands to be able to make them do their thing. A moving light can obviously adjust its position, right, or its focus, where it points on the stage. They can change color. LEDs also can change color. A moving light has gobos and can project texture. We can adjust that texture, whether it's a sharp edge or a soft edge. They zoom, they get larger and smaller, and then they have effects, animation wheels and prisms. So moving lights do all kinds of things, and all of that is controlled by our light board, and we tell the lights what we want them to do, and then they do them. So controlling lights. Lighting is a language of numbers, and don't be afraid, math is not required. But every light is assigned a number from the controller, or a channel number. And so at the light board, I tell a channel to come to a value, let's say full, and then it tells the dimmer rack to turn that dimmer to full, which turns that light to full. as I reduce the intensity to say 50%, the dimmer reduces the power to half and the light dims to half, right? So every light is assigned a number. Even moving lights and LEDs, each fixture, even though it has many parameters beyond intensity, right, is assigned a number, 1 through 5,000, 10,000, 300, however many, right? It's assigned a number, and then that fixture is controlled by that number. Now, a lighting cue is a lighting look on stage. It is actually, a collection of lights that are set at a value. So maybe this first light is set at half. Our second light is at full, and our third light is at 0, and we like that look. If we like that look, then we can save that as a lighting cue or record it. We record light cues. Light cues can then be recalled, so we can call up that lighting look. We assign that lighting look a number 1, 2, 3, etc., right? And we can recall that lighting look and play it back. We can also assign that lighting look a time in how fast it changes from one look to another. You could think about the end of a big musical number might end in a bump or a 0 count cue, a button at the end of a song, right? Or we may have a sunset cue that requires something that takes a much longer time to fade from one look into the next look. Let's talk a little bit. Now, light boards. This is unlike a normal computer. The layout of this console is unlike anything that you may have ever experienced before. These computers manage a lot of information, and they must do so in a very timely manner. There is no lag. There can't be a lag. You should never encounter a spinning wheel. The net result of that is that these machines are very expensive, and they are very powerful, and they manage a ton of information and do so in a very timely manner, right? So even our lower end light board, our Ion XE, is a very expensive computer. You may, on your computer, have spent $1,500 or $1,000 or even $2,000. The cheapest version of the Ion XE is $10,000. Light boards range from $10,000 to well over $100,000. And consoles that run that do Broadway shows and concerts can even be $250,000 for one computer, for a box that you could pick up and carry around. They are incredibly expensive. So the net result of that is we never want to have any water damage or coffee or soda or anything. So no drinks in the light lab ever, right? So dust is a villain. Dust is evil. We don't want to get dust down into the console, and we also want to protect it whenever the console is not in use. There is a cover in the light lab. Please put the cover back on the board whenever you are done using it. Do not leave the cover on the console with the console on. It draws air for ventilation in through the face panel and exhausts through a fan. And if you leave the cover on the light board with it on, it's not able to ventilate properly and will overheat. So put the cover on when the board is off, whenever the board is off, and always turn the board off when you're done. We'll talk a little bit now. The face panel, again, it's arranged unlike anything like a normal keyboard. It's a language of numbers. So what they've done is they've placed a numeric keypad right in the middle of all of these other keys that we use, because numbers are what we're going to interface with the most. And again, most consoles share a similar layout, and what I'll do is talk you through each part of this in the next videos.